Seeing as we have a quorum, I'd like to call this meeting of the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District Board of Trustees to session. And having done that now, we will recess into closed session and reconvene at 6 p.m. It is now 6:04. We're going back into session here, the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District, and we have a quorum, so we will begin our meeting. And the first thing we're going to do is have a Pledge of Allegiance by Miss Stella Parker. Would you all please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Stella. Okay, we do have 2 items to report out of closed session. We took the action to approve the following. Number 1 was OAH case number 20211-20441, and the vote was unanimous on that one. And the second one is case number 20211-0449, and the vote on that was also unanimous for approval. Item D is approval of the agenda, additions, deletions, or corrections. Do you have some additions to the contract listing, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, Mr. President, there are 2 contracts that we need to add to the list. Renew our contract annual agreement with the Boys and Girls Club for after-school programs. This is paid through grant funds. And then second, an increase of $7,000 to our contract with JJ Enterprise for work district-wide on security devices, motion detectors, etc.
Okay, thank you very much. So is there a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Also move.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second to approve as amended. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin? Aye. Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. And now we're happy to have for recognitions and presentations our Lilac Employees of the Month, which are Danielle Parker, classified, and Suzanne Cox, certificated, presented by the principal.
All right, good evening, President Adams, Superintendent McCown. Think I'm good? I think I'll use my playground voice. But good evening, everybody. President Adams, Superintendent McCown, and members of the board. It's my honor to present to you tonight, Lilac Schools Classified and Certificated Employees of the Month. And first up is classified employee Mrs. Danielle Parker. Can you give her a hand? It is my pleasure to present Mrs. Danielle Parker with the award this evening for Classified Employee of the Month. Danielle works as a duty supervisor at Lilac School and has done so since October 2019. From March 2020 to June 2021, during our hybrid times, she continued to do clerical and office work to support the needs at Lilac School. She is also a Lilac mom and lives in Valley Center with her husband and 2 children who have joined us here tonight. Her husband's name is Matt. Her daughter's name is Stella, who did our Pledge of Allegiance, is 9 years old and is a 3rd grader at Lilac School. And her son, named Wyatt, is 3 years old. Hi, Wyatt. The family has lived in Valley Center for the past 3 years, but Matt's family, the Shaner family, is from Valley Center. Mrs. Parker loves Valley Center and with her family raises a variety of animals on a local farm. Mrs. Parker's mom was an LVN attendance clerk in a school setting for 35 years. Yeah. She is always willing to lend a hand and takes responsibility in everything she does. This is Mrs. Parker. Our duty supervisors play an important role in making sure our campuses are supported, prepared, organized, and safe and run smoothly so teachers can do their jobs and administrators. Mrs. Parker helps to create a safe learning environment where students can focus on their learning, making it a place our children want to be. It doesn't matter if it's last minute. Mrs. Parker is willing to stop and help a fellow staff member if they need assistance. Mrs. Parker is the kind of person any educator would love to work with and can depend on. The entire school staff at Lilac and students are fortunate to work with her. When I asked Mrs. Parker what she likes best about her job, she said, "I love my job." As a mom, she enjoys interacting with all children, keeping them safe, and being someone they can talk to. She has fun every day at Lilac and loves being helpful to teachers and supporting students' needs. She enjoys communication. Danielle shared a story of working with a difficult student with me when she started, and he didn't listen to her, he didn't cooperate, and now, after some time and consistent work, and her showing perseverance, the student and her have a great relationship at school. The following are words that our colleagues used to describe her at Lilac the past couple weeks that I've gathered this information for this report. She always has a smile on her face and a positive attitude. Students love her, and the staff does as well. Danielle does a great job at monitoring student behaviors and providing feedback to teachers if there are incidents at lunch. She is always friendly and willing to help. Danielle Parker is an all-around amazing addition to Lilac School. She's there in the morning to greet our students with her beaming smile as they walk through our gates. She helps at recess and lunch times, and students in need go to Danielle directly as she is a trustworthy adult on campus. Danielle is a great communicator with other staff members too. If anything happens at recess or lunch, Danielle informs the teacher in a timely fashion. And finally, Danielle is great at communicating with teachers. When my students were running to lunch, being disruptive, going to the lunch tables, she made me aware of it and worked together with me to come up with a plan to ensure my students ate their food, cooperated, and didn't run in an unsafe fashion. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Danielle Parker as our Classified Employee of the Month. Hold on, I got something for you.
Was very instrumental when it came to our pickup and drop off during COVID, and talk about stepping up and helping kids get to their cars and follow all the rules and regulations. Second to none. So thank her for that help too.
Oh, you're gonna have to lower that for me.
Remember, you're good at communicating.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh no, I just want to say thank you. This really means a lot. I love the staff, the admin, everybody at Lilac is just amazing and friendly, and I love the kids. They're always so sweet and smiling, and I love the kindergartners in the morning, getting them out of the cars. Sometimes it takes a long time, but they get out. But no, I really, really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
And now our certificated employee of the month, Miss Suzanne Cox. Come on up. Front and center, ma'am. You haven't fired me. It is my pleasure to present Miss Suzanne Cox with the award this evening for Certificated Employee of the Month. This is her third year in Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District, and she was hired originally as an educational specialist at Lilac School. Prior to coming to Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District, she started out with a general education credential, but after a short time, she realized her philosophy was that every classroom, in some way, is a special education classroom, and all students have unique needs. She spent the next 20 years working in a non-public school with students with special needs, and after earning her special education credential, she chose to work in as many aspects of the field as she could. From a special day class to a resource teacher in non-public special needs schools, she felt she could take on any aspect of the job in education. Ms. Cox is currently caring for her 87 and 92-year-old parents. Tonight, her mother is in attendance. Hi, Mom. And her brother's with her tonight as well. And he's 55. Great. He's a young 55. But, and you can tell students, but also family comes first for Miss Cox. She lives with them, and besides teaching, they are her life. She often thinks if she were to ever leave teaching, not, your words, not mine, she would be interested in geriatric care. Miss Cox's love of teaching, passion, and dedication for her craft is very evident as a special education teacher. She is a true role model for her students and fellow staff. She believes it is her responsibility to create an environment where all feelings are validated and all learning is celebrated. Miss Cox understands it takes a village to help children grow and to feel safe in our school environment. Since I arrived at Lilac School this past March, I've been so impressed with her passion for teaching, her goal setting for students, and high expectations that allows her to go above and beyond to support each student that she works with. She is always willing to step in, is a problem solver, and collaborates well with others. And she has a can-do attitude, which I really appreciate as an administrator. When I asked Miss Cox what she likes best about her job, she said, "A huge part of what I love is the fact that I get to work in Valley Center. I have worked in other districts. This is truly where I feel I belong. I don't consider this to be a job. It's a part of my life, and that's what I like best. I love what I do. I love the kids. I love the paperwork." Okay, that's kind of weird. I love the parents. I love the teams I work with, and I love coming every day, and I feel it's a privilege to do so. Miss Cox is a highly valued member of the Lilac School team. She has the utmost respect from fellow teachers, staff, and families, and she is willing, and she's always willing, to be a model professional, and people see her as such. Her colleagues had this to say about her. Suzanne works around the clock with her students and for her team members. She always asks how she can help. She calls staff to see if they could use her help by covering them at recess duty, and know what she says? Just because. I am so grateful I have a team member like Miss Cox. Pretty sure she lives at Lilac, is what somebody said. She's always making sure her students are engaged in multidisciplinary lessons that span domains of learning. Always has a smile on her face, always communicating and going the extra mile for families. And two others. Suzanne Cox is a gem to Lilac School. She has held down our special education department for the past 3 years. Suzanne is a problem solver and a go-getter. She has a special bond with her students. Suzanne loves Spirit Week and often is seen wearing goofy outfits to engage her students, and often uses planting in our school garden as an incentive and interactive way for learning. The students love her and respect her. She has made huge growth with some of our most challenging students and situations. And finally, Suzanne is truly a teacher for all students on campus. She makes a point to positively interact with every student she sees, even those not in her class. She greets all students in the morning with a smile and a joke, makes a positive impact on our campus with her attitude and joy for working with students. Miss Cox even is willing to step into SSP meetings for primary grades, not at her grade level and her caseload, to ensure special education has a presence and voice. Please join me in congratulating Mrs. Suzanne Cox for our Certificated Employee of the Month. Let's see what he wants to do.
Okay.
Congratulations. Here you are.
Thank you.
Please say a few words.
Oh, okay, yay.
I'll hold these.
Yeah, a few words. So, there are a few things that I would like to address the board with, but I was told I'm not allowed to. So we'll meet again. I okayed the crown with Mr. Reineck. He told me to just be myself. And I would like to preface all of this with saying Dr. Batar opens all my meetings with apologizing for whatever comes out of my mouth. So I'm going to do that. Thank you, Dr. Batar. Okay, I am, of course, very grateful for this recognition, and coming from my coworkers and peers, I know how meaningful it is. With that said, I have to admit that I have felt this grateful and blessed long before this honor, simply because I have been given the opportunity to work in this district, to work at Lilac School, to work with my students, and do what I love to do. I look back on my career and wonder why it took me so long to finally land where I so obviously belong. I can't, however, say thank you without acknowledging the team of individuals I work with, those who make my jobs so amazing, the general education teachers who work with the special education team to make the students with IEPs successful, and of course, our aides and supports who make up the team that is special ed. So I thank you again for the opportunity that I have been given to work at Lilac in Valley Center, and this recognition that puts special ed back in the limelight and this honor. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, make me look thin. Okay, turn sideways, everybody, and lean. Thank you. It works, trust me.
And next, President Adams, Superintendent McCowan, and members of the board, it is my honor to present Lilac School's Learning in Mathematics video. And the focus of this 5.5-minute video is to showcase how Lilac School's students are learning and engaging in mathematics. I would like to thank all my students, teachers, and staff who star in the video, but a special thank you right now to Dr. Mesa Batar, if you could still stand, please. And as you know, Dr. Mesa Batar, she was our principal at Lilac School before I transitioned over from the primary school. And to show you how great of a person she is she created this video for us and for me prior to leaving. Can you give Dr. Mesa Batar a hand? Right. Oh, I was getting to that, but we're focusing on you. We're focusing on you, Dr. Batar. But no, it just shows you that the type of person you are, that you take care of business before you transition or do anything. So thank you. And then also, I'd like to thank our instructional coach, Mrs. Rayanne Rockwell. Can you give her a hand? And she is the amazing, pleasant voice that you'll hear narrate the video and does a great job for all of us at Lilac. And just an FYI, a lot of the footage was created throughout the school year. So prior to mask mandates and all those kinds of things, you'll see students wearing masks and such, and just wanted to let you know why. So enjoy.
Teachers and students have access to a variety of tools and resources for math, starting with Eureka Math. This resource includes 3 workbooks for student learning. Learn addresses problem sets. Practice includes sprints to help develop fluency in math, and Succeed provides independent practice and helps our students with homework. Affirm is a tool we use to follow students' academic progress over time. This platform provides a variety of assessment tools and extra practice to prepare students for the rigor of standardized assessments. Equip is an adaptive pre-assessment tool that identifies and addresses gaps in learning. It detects specific needs prior to the start of a learning module and provides teachers with the information that is needed to adjust lessons to meet the needs of our students. Zern is a program that is aligned to Eureka Math. It provides students with the opportunity to work on foundational skills that are identified by Affirm and Equip. It is also a valuable tool that can be used for front-loading or review. It has a combination of videos and practice activities that students can use in class and at home. iExcel is a supplementary math program used to enhance students' math skills in grades 2 through 5. iExcel aligns with Eureka Math, and specific skills can be assigned to individual students for intervention or enrichment. We make math relevant, demonstrating how math is a language with a unique vocabulary and patterns. Students use mathematical expressions to describe patterns and decode meaning while developing an appreciation of the rigor and challenge that math provides. Math terminology may appear vague to students if they're unfamiliar with the vocabulary. This model helps students build fluency in this new language as they take on mathematical challenges. We make math real by showing students how it connects with their lives. In the following videos, you'll see students from 1st and 4th grade demonstrate their understanding.
In real life, there's 7 squirrels playing on the playground, and then there's 5 on the monkey bars, and 3 more came to join them, and then that makes a friendly 10, and then we only have 2 left, so I know it equals 12.
One of the reasons we use division in real life is to find out the cost of singular items. For example, if you have 3 candy bars and you want to figure out the cost of one of them, you can just divide it, and the result would be 29 cents.
We make math visual. Teachers use anchor charts, graphs, and tables to bring concepts to life. These visuals help students understand concepts in ways that numbers alone cannot do. We make math about the process. Students are given multiple and frequent opportunities to work through the mathematical process and demonstrate understanding. Teachers encourage self-correction and provide opportunities for buddy and group work and lead math talks to make math relevant. Dual language students explain the process in both English and Spanish.
Quiero saber cuántas páginas leí. El libro Guerreros tiene 317 páginas. Leí 2 libros. Puedo multiplicar 317 por 2. 7 por 2 es 14. 2 por 1 es 2. Sumar 1 es 3. Y 2 por 3 es 6. En total tiene 634 páginas.
When visiting a classroom at Lilac School, you will notice high-level vocabulary and walls dripping with language. Classrooms have language-rich, constructive environments and employ a variety of student interaction techniques that instill the love and fun of learning. You'll see math chants and songs, math signal words and movement, math academic vocabulary, anchor charts, and hands-on learning. William Paul Thurston said, "Mathematics is not about numbers, equations, computations, or algorithms. It is about understanding." Here at Lilac, we agree.
So on behalf of the Lilac School staff, community members, thank you for this opportunity tonight. And did anybody on the board have any questions about the video or the presentation?
Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, President Adams. Appreciate it. All right, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And now it comes time for the request to address the board. I have to read this, and I should have it memorized by now, but I'm going to read this here as required. Members of the public are encouraged to attend board meetings and to address the board concerning any items on the agenda or within the board's jurisdiction. In order to conduct district business in an orderly and efficient manner, the board requires that public presentations to the board comply with Board Bylaw 9323, including the following. Members of the public wishing to address the board must complete a request to address the board card prior to the meeting and give it to the board secretary. The board president will recognize each person who has a request to address the board at the proper time and invite them to speak from the podium. Speakers must announce their name prior to address the board. All comments are limited to 3 minutes per person or 20 minutes per item. There's a timer right there to help with that. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the Board of Trustees and staff's ability to respond to comments on items that are not on the agenda. The board may not legally take action on any item not specifically listed on the agenda. If there are any concerns regarding specific individuals, it is preferred that the speakers refrain from naming them publicly to respect their privacy. Okay. Right, and please note that once the board the board closes the public input time on an agenda item, only the board and staff are involved in subsequent discussions. Thank you very much. Okay. Our first speaker is Dana Brown. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we get started, I hate to interrupt. Some people might want to leave who got the presentation, and I forgot to announce that. So please give us a minute here for those who wish to just stayed for the presentation.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.
Congratulations. Yeah, we used to be.
Yeah, we
Yes,
used to pause. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we used to do that. We should do that
We
next.
need-
Oh, no worries. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Dana Brown. I'm an inner city community organizer for 24 years. I reside on Kumeyaay Nation land with my husband. Grateful to be here tonight with the Superintendent McCowan and the Board of Education here in the beautiful land of the Payom-Kawichim tribe. In 1850, this young nation, California, was enacted as a state. And in 1851, the first governor of California, Peter Burnett, said in an address to legislature, "We shall wage a war of extermination between the two races until the Indian race becomes extinct," and held propaganda and town hall meetings up and down California, where he let folks know, settlers and Gold Rush, when they were making an average of 25 cents a day, that if they would bring in the scalp or the head of a Native American man, they would be paid $5. The scalp or the head of a Native American woman, $2.50. The scalp or the head of a Native American child, $1. The federal government reimbursed California over $1 million. I only learned that truth 5 years ago. And when Governor Newsom in September of 2019 gathered many Native Americans up in Sacramento and apologized for the genocide in California of the Native Americans and declared he wants truth-telling in public education up and down California, when our San Diego County Board of Supervisors declared racism a public health crisis in January of 2019, and they opened up the Office of Equity and Racial Justice, they, as grass tops, the purse strings for the entire county, want to dismantle systemic racism. So we have my ask, my invitation is how I loved what Mrs. Cox said about it takes a village to raise a children. And we are here as a community to wrap around Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District on behalf of all of your children, K through 12, with dismantling systemic racism and decolonizing. We are doing that work very intentionally here in San Diego in myriad ways. We were at San Diego State University on Saturday, decolonizing social work through empowerment, and we are very passionate and very intentional about doing everything we can to create healing-centered, equity-focused spaces and humanizing all of our places together on behalf of the children that we teach, on behalf of the families that we serve. And so I would like to offer my help in any way. I'm a very passionate advocate and community organizer, inner city, cross-sector in a social ecological model, and I just encourage all of you to have have a dialogue about dismantling systemic racism in the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District. We know that race is a social, it's not biological, it is a social construct. And so we are here to help on behalf of all the children that we love and the communities that we care about. Thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me talk tonight. My name is Kathy Michaels, and I am a representative from Showing Up for Racial Justice, North County. I am here in support of the Rincon Indian Education Center. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. There. I've been meeting with you all. I've been to every meeting since December, and have listened to the center staff bring up the same issues over and over again relating to Native students in your district, and make the same requests over and over again, which I believe are reasonable. What I don't understand is why we, as white privileged people like me, you continue to listen but don't authorize any action or even make a plan for these requests. This has been going on since August without action. Two of the California Board of Education's specific goals are making sure each district is held accountable for student achievement in all programs and for all groups of students, and enabling all students to achieve state standards. Are you aware, Board, that your district is not achieving either of these goals as it relates to Native students? What I have discovered over this period of time is that Native students have the highest suspension rates, absenteeism, and the lowest grades in your district, and in several categories are not meeting the state standards of achievement. It's your responsibility to assess these problems with the work of the experts, the Indian Education Center staff, and find a way to turn these problems around. Please take pride in your school district and start to take an active role, to improve all student achievement, including Native students. I guess Ms. Cox is gone, but I again commend her for her philosophy of how to deal with the students in her school, as well as, I'm assuming, throughout the district. I wish that the entire district would be able to do the same thing that she's doing.
Hello everyone, good evening. Superintendent, Board of Trustees, my name is Melissa Elder. I'm here again every month. I'm here, would like to remind everyone why we're here every month, speaking to you all, taking time from our evenings, because we are feeling so passionate about meeting the needs of Native American students. And so I'd like to read from a letter that we had sent to the superintendent recently to kind of remind everyone why we're here. So dear Superintendent McCalman, we are following up on the letter we sent to you on November 9th requesting permanent space on campus for Native youth. While spaces are found and provided for our centers during programming, there's no permanent spaces where education centers and community members can have office hours for the purpose of students having access to resources throughout the school day. This is critical because students have a stronger sense of belonging at their institution, and they have better academic outcomes, better mental health, and demonstrate a higher engagement and persistence when they have this space. This would help encourage them to continue to come back to school. We are requesting that the school district create and implement a plan by the end of this school year in order to address the unique and specific needs by Native American students for the next school year. And again, we've been asking for these things for months, since August, and I think this is very reasonable to come up with a concrete and implementable plan. We've heard of SMART goals, so specific, measurable, attainable. It's not enough to just say we're working on something. We need to have a plan and something that we can be held accountable to. And so some of these things that we're asking about is establishing a permanent physical space for ed centers on all district school sites with equitable access and technology. We're asking to reorganize funding for full-time support and or direct services to meet the immediate needs of Native American students, such as creating a specific liaison position. native cultural humility training, again, for all district staff, board, principals, teachers, and volunteers, to include facilitation by community members, and in implementing a learning community where teachers and staff can work together and assess progress at utilizing these strategies in their classrooms with appropriate stakeholder engagement. And then again, an assessment in order to make sure that we're meeting these goals that we're setting that are smart and that they're attainable, and we have an actual plan that we're comparing against to making sure that we're making progress. We've been asking to track data on detentions and searches, and these are things that we've been asking for since August, and they're still not being tracked. Why aren't they not being tracked? And we want to be able to see these numbers and address the inequities that in disproportionate disciplinary actions. And if they're not disproportionate, that's great. But we need to be able to tell our students that they're not being targeted unfairly. And again, writing the Ed Centers back into the LCAP. The Ed Centers are not listed in the LCAP. So again, this is why we're here every month, and we will continue to be here until we can see this plan and work together to implement this plan. It's not enough to say we're trying and that we want all students to succeed. We need to have a plan that's actionable. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Alexander Hahn.
I'd like to see my time the next speaker.
Okay, that would be Anthony Pico is listed next.
Good evening to all of you. I'm Anthony Pico. I'm a citizen of the Viejas Band of Kumeyaay near Alpine. And I want you to know how much I really appreciate this time with you that you've given me. I also want you to understand that I consider that this most important issue the Indians and educators face. When I was a child, I was bullied in the Alpine School District. That was over 70 years ago. And so I speak from experience and how it affects one's life and makes one weary of people who are not like you. It makes us always to be in the safety of familiars. I always felt that it was I felt this physically also, feeling safe. Each incident of bullying to me was a punch in my gut where my body stores and remembers pain. The impact of bullying lasts a lifetime. In this kind of a situation here the problem is between the kids. They are the actors, and they will either learn good lessons from what seems to be a natural rite of passage for teenagers, or they will learn the wrong lesson, which will cloud their future behavior throughout their lives. The only way to break down the me versus them is to get to the middle of where the humans connect with small familiar intimacies. And this is a teachable moment, a chance to help these youth understand the similar burdens and worries and lifestyles that they all share. And this is a way to break down the scary mysteries of reservation life or stereotypes. I'm tired of bullying, and I know that all of you are also, because we can't seem to get a handle on it. It's like institutionalized ritual between the kids trying to find their place in society. Some learn to take, and like me, some learned to take it. Between these difficult pandemic problems, the never-ending specter of bullying must be wearing on school administrators also. I don't believe that the educators or the parents can solve this problem through disciplinary actions. That'll never work. These only seem to justify a bully's action and make them a martyr to their followers. But the victims don't seem to feel secure about disciplining bullies either. They fear it will only make the situation worse. And my friends, it will. So let's save the kids from themselves. We can give the perpetrators and the victims a new way to view each other and the world. I just let you know what's happening at the Alpine Union School District, where we have this kind of bullying that's going on, where our kids are referred to as sand niggers, indigenous dirt, talking to kids about their own sexual orientation. Because I know where I live on the reservation, sexual orientation is not an issue, because in our history, it was very important to understand that there are some people who have two gifts, male and female. And so that was respected within our society. I'm not asking for you to respect that in your society. What I'm asking is that it's important that we collaborate. It's important that we unify on this issue to help our children reach their God-given potential. And within the school district in Alpine, the district superintendent is all on board. The staff that I spoke to on Monday is all on board. The education committee on the Viejas Indian Reservation is all on board. And when we have this kind of understanding that we can solve this together, we don't have to be adversarials in any way, shape, or form. It's so important that we do that. And I also am here to be of service to anyone at any time, under any conditions. Because, like you, I love my children. And their education is so important to us. We just heard something about the genocide of California between 1840 and 1870. And the lasting effects that has had on our people through historical trauma, then intergenerational trauma, one generation to the other, and then it lands in our lap as childhood trauma. And that has to be solved for us to reach our potential so that we can be great citizens to one another. Thank you.
Mr. Robert Wallace, thank you for coming.
Hello again, you guys. My name is Robert Wallace from the Barona Band of Mission Indians. And sorry for my absence last time. I was fighting on another colonial aspect against Native Americans. And, you know, we talk about bullying, we talk about the stuff that I had to go through or my uncle had to go through, are just disrespectful people. And I just saw it right here, and I'm going to say it right now, okay? I saw one of you guys, as Melissa Elder was speaking, roll your eyes and gasp. And that's BS. And I'm calling you on it. You know who you are. You know what I mean? And I'll say it. Review your video. It's uncalled for. It's disrespectful, because what we want is something right for the kids. Ron, you have somebody that gasped and rolled their eyes like this, like, oh, Lord, we have to hear her again. And that's BS, man. Really. You know, at one time we had an understanding. You guys were coming out and smudging with us, and I thought, man, this is really cool. Maybe they'll understand a little something about us, and that we can share medicine and we can talk in a good way. And then the next couple meetings were good, and then the last one, we were talking about stuff, and, you know, I think you guys hightailed it out the back door and wanted nothing to do with us smudging, you know. And that's okay. You know, if you don't want to be friends like that, that's fine. You have your own way. But I think, you know, moving along, and these people right here that work and try to do better for the kids are doing the best they can. And I think you guys try the best you can too, you know. But there has to be a common ground of working together and showing each other respect, that you really do care about the kids and not going to have roll your eyes around here in a meeting with a bunch of people. It's so disrespectful. Review your tapes. You'll see who it is, Ron. You know, you and I talked about one time, and we had talked about maybe, man, getting with Miss Amy and talking about things that she needs and what would be better for the kids. And I mean, that's so rad, our conversation, but it seems like it's always, you know, going like this. And I took a picture of you guys, a panoramic, because you guys are California Native American history right now at this moment. You have Dr. Anthony Pico, who's done miracle stuff across the country for all of our tribes. And you will have more people here listening in because word is spreading. I'm telling you, I'm part of the warrior spirit too. I was there. I'm going to be part of something with 700 people strong here in the next couple of days. They're going to hear maybe about this person, and I might even say this person's name. You know, but why should I? Or why shouldn't I? Maybe I might have enough respect within me to keep this person on the low and maybe make them change their mind about the way they were acting here a few minutes ago. You know, come on, you guys, man. All the kids want is just a fair shake. I mean, that's the second largest in California. I mean, you guys have so much potential for doing something so right with Native American kids, but there's something that's holding you back. And I don't know if it's your colonial way of thinking or if it's selfishness, stubbornness. There's all sorts of things, all different levels to that kind of way of thinking. And, you know, I'm going to be here all the time until this is done, you know, until there's changes and everybody has a smile on their face and everybody can compromise. And that's a key word too, compromise. You have to work together. It's not one way. It's always compromise. So, you know, much respect to you, Ron. I know you have a tough job, but you also have somebody rolling their eyes. So you need to check your people, please. Thanks.
All right, now we move to the consent agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had you down. Did you want to talk at the time that the agenda item comes up? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. So she wanted to speak both times.
For the other.
No, just
2 times, 3 times.
Okay. What item is that? That was the.
70, but she wants to speak in open
She wants
session.
to speak in
Oh,
open
okay,
session.
yeah. Okay, got it. Okay. Okay, we're now moving to the consent agenda. Okay.
No, she's going to speak now.
Oh, now.
And at the.
Oh, now and at that. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, go ahead.
It's hard to hear up here sometimes from.
This is for item, let me see.
This is just general.
Oh, I see.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and Superintendents. Notung Amy Admayaka, no washnai, no payam. And I know we've been here and we're going to keep being here, but it is in a good way. Like tonight, I wanted to tell you about this morning how I was walking on the reservation, as I often do, stepping over piles of whippets and empty alcohol bottles, reflecting on the work we're asking you to join us in doing. And I want to share that with you because I think we can be removed from each other because you don't see what we see. And so when you're writing policies for us or you're building a program for Native American kids on campus, you don't have the same scene in your head that we have in our heart and that our spirits live with when we design a Native American program. And so that's why it's really important to have us in the planning process of building these programs, because we have a different view. We have the correct view of what we're trying to make changes in and what we're trying to save our young people from having to continue to live. And so that's the spirit in which I'm sharing with you tonight. As we mentioned before, the work that we do includes the reduction of trauma and the ultimate goal of healing for our young people and their families. When you hear that, you might wonder what the district has to do with any of that. As Plenty Coups of the Crow Nation recognized in 1885, education, he felt, was the hoist that was going to lift his people out of poverty and colonial afflictions. We recognize that too, whether it be the education of cultural practices or the education of academics. The U.S. government has recognized that both of these forms of education should be accessible to Native youth in the public education system. The government has further recognized that mental health is a crucial component of that education. In partnership with families and education centers, VCPUSD is responsible for the education of our young people. We continue to come to these meetings every month to educate you and to inform you of what our students' needs are. You're getting a great education. Our friend Dana came last time, who is a professor of social work. We've got, like we shared, Dr. Anthony Pico here tonight, Dr. Dana Brown. And so we're trying very hard to have this education be reciprocal. We feel that, we provide hours of suggestions and strategies to be met with gaslighting. We feel that equity for our students has not been achieved and is neglected. Equity means giving our and all students what they need. And because the government has further determined that our students' needs are unique and specific, our education does not look like the education of all. We need people to stop telling us that they're doing everything the same for all the students. That's not equity. It's not equity. Equity, and I know it's my time, we're asking you to do better. A parent shared with us that during the recent round of book fairs, there were no books that represented Native peoples or our families. She asked that I encourage you to include books on American Indians next year, and they will be sending a letter. The thing is, our generation's been doing this work with VCPUSD for 25 years. The generation before us, the same. The fact that Native Americans are not widely represented in our schools or on our school boards is egregious at this point. And also that we don't see more employees in our district. Our children need to see more people that look like them, and that's why we continue to insist that we be in the school until that day occurs. So thank you so much.
Okay. What's that? Oh, okay. These here. Here we go. Okay, next we move on to our consent agenda. And this month I was tasked with the job of reviewing the purchase orders along with Member Stroh. My questions were answered to my satisfaction, and I move that we approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. Okay, Superintendent's Division, Mr. Superintendent McCowan will make a report.
All right, thank you very much. Let's see how our clicker's working up here. So this first picture here is a migrant education field trip out to Cal State San Marcos, where our students learned about the importance of having a college and career plan post-graduation from high school. They visited the College Assistant Migration Program, which is called CAMP, where they explored the resources provided to first-generation migrant education students. So this was one of our trips this last month. The next slide here, this is a trip by our Title VI, which is our Native American club, and also our Avid clubs from the middle school. They also visited Cal State San Marcos with their our Title VI coordinator, Mrs. Martinez, and Avid coordinator, Mrs. Martineau. The trip was for 7th and 8th graders. They went to Cal State San Marcos. The students enjoyed touring the campus, the California Indian Cultural and Sovereignty Center, and enjoyed a nice pizza lunch together. And we really want to give a special thank you out to Dr. Jolie Proudfit, who helped organize this and make this such a special day for our students. And these students were also, along with the students that we saw earlier, encouraged as you look at these plans to plan for the future and see where is it that you want to go after high school, so they can start planning this now as 7th and 8th graders, because we all know how important that is. So we want to thank Dr. Jolie Proudfit for putting that together. Our next slide here, and this is going to be a shorter presentation than we've had in the recent. Oh, we put in a little advertisement in between my next one. This is the Valley Center Jaguar auction. This is going to happen April 23rd, which is this Saturday night. Just so some of you that maybe aren't aware, the Jaguar auction is ran by the High School Jaguars Foundation. And the way it's ran is each individual group and club, when they bring items to the auction and those things get auctioned off, they get the proceeds from those items, minus I think it's 10%, Julie, that goes into running the actual auction. So for instance, our Native American club from the high school will have a booth there, and they'll have stuff that they can sell. Our band, drama, football team, and so you can donate to all the different programs. And really, when we look at student social and emotional well-being, the well-being really revolves around how connected are they to their schools. And I know that's what we've been talking about. And the more connected they are, the more likely they are to be successful. And one of the ways is through different interactions throughout our clubs and our athletic programs and our bands, etc. So really encourage you to come out. It's a real nice, fun night. You might even find a bargain, but you'll definitely be donating to a great cause. Okay, now we'll go on to our COVID report, which is getting smaller and smaller, and I hope to remove this at some point. You have our commitments up there that I've shared each week since pretty much March of 2020. We are glad to report that this week, right now, we have 2 people on our list as far as people that have COVID at the current time. Last March, when we met last, there was 33 students and staff members. So you can see that number has ticked down. We have not been above 5 in probably 3 or 4 weeks. So really excited about that. Another slide here. This showed the decline of the amount of cases in San Diego County. They've stopped showing this graph, which I'm disappointed because I've always said this is my favorite graph. But that number is continuing to go down further and further. But unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, what they've really seen the science showing is worrying more about hospitalization rates and different things along the metrics that make sure that our community can handle the number of positive cases. So this graph won't be used anymore. And then this graph here just shows that we're still in a substantial transmission area. You can see that for 1 week up there, we were in the moderate transmission. But if you look down, we are slowly starting to creep back into that moderate transmission rate, and that's where we hope to see our county go as we continue to battle through this. Also, the federal government came out with another method for determining what your levels are around the state. Low is green, medium, and high. And I'll show the map up in the right corner was what we saw in March. And you can see there was still plenty of yellow and brownish color, but not a whole lot of the green, which is the low level. And now you can see the whole state of California is in the same color, which is low transmission. So really positive about the way things are moving, and just it's so much fun to watch our kids back at a huge track meet Saturday, play going on this weekend, our auction being live, just things getting back to normal. I think it's going to be beneficial to our students. And that's my report, unless there's any questions.
Does anybody have questions for?
Oh, hang on, I forgot one thing. Yeah, and I didn't make a slide on this one, but unfortunately, we've had a couple of incidences in our community the last couple of weeks where we've lost 2 young gentlemen, And so we are working with the Catholic Church. Both of those students were, one was our student, one was homeschooled, and they both attended the youth group at the Catholic Church. So we're going to partner with them and have a thing in the magazine on suicide prevention, and that program will be on May 10th. There'll be more information coming out about that. One of the things I'd like to press as we get ready for this is we've done these before and unfortunately not had the numbers that we would like to have. And I think if we go back to it takes a village to raise a child, just because you either don't have a child at home right now, maybe you don't have a child that you're directly overseeing, but if you go to this and you pick up different tips of how to help a student when they're navigating social media, how to help a student when they're feeling down, and to direct them how to get help, that even if you're not the parent, you're still going to come into contact with young people. And it's really the whole community that needs to go to this training, not just parents of teenagers. And so we're going to open it up and hopefully get a packed house, because as a community of Valley Center-Pauma Unified, I think it's important that we look at addressing this issue now in an immediate sense. So thank you for that, and thanks, Nancy.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, all right. We move on to item B, which is resolution 2021-22-12 to recognize Teacher Appreciation Week, May 1 to 7, and Day of the Teacher on May 11th. Is there a motion for that?
Also move.
And a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion about that? No? Okay. Then let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And the same thing, item C is a resolution 2021-2022-13, recognizing Classified School Employee Week as May 16 to 20, 2022, and to honor our classified staff. Is there a motion for that one?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
Discussion? Okay, let's move forward then with a vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And item D, the board will conduct a first reading of the following revised board policy and administrative regulations, AR 5125, BP 6158, AR 6158. These will be brought before the board at the meeting in May, at which time the board will consider those for approval. And item E, the board will conduct a second reading of the following revised board policy and administrative regulations, AR 1312.3, BP 1312.3, and BB 9320. Okay. I'd have a motion for those.
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Any discussion on those items? Already read in your board packet. Okay. I'll call for the vote then. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. Okay, Educational Service Summer School Update. Mr. McCowan, I guess you're giving the report on that?
Yes, I'm going to turn that over to our esteemed Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Robertson.
Thank you. I just want to double check you're going to move the slides for me? Or am I going to?
I'm going to pass you the clicker.
Oh, okay, great. All right, good evening, President Adams, board members, Superintendent McCowan, and the community. Tonight you'll hear a very brief presentation on summer school. If you recall, last year we really expanded summer school, and we are planning to continue to do that again this year. So briefly, we'll let you know when we're going to hold summer school, what our program is going to look like, a little bit about extended school year, just when it is and who qualifies, and then any questions that you might have. So some of our summer school programs will be overlapping with a couple of standalones that I want to make sure we point out. Our migrant ESY, which I'll address in a few minutes, and general education programs will all take place during sessions 1 and 2, as you see there. In addition, we're going to have 2 sessions for our migrant preschool, and a virtual 6-12 program will also be held during the summer for our migrant students. I want to thank Dr. Batar for working with the county on funding and putting together a rich continuous learning program and environment for our 177 migrant students. Our learning program is focused on boosting and strengthening skills and concepts for our students so that they transition successfully into the next grade level in the fall. At the high school level, most of our courses are in credit recovery through Imagine Learning. Many of us will remember that as Edgenuity. Some CTE certification courses and boosting with AP courses and math readiness, and a short course that we invite ninth graders to that will benefit from the extra time connecting with the school, some teachers, and learning some readiness success skills. Our extended school year will be offered during the sessions mentioned earlier. However, each one of these runs for 2 weeks instead of 3. Just as a reminder, our audience for our ESY program are students with IEPs who require the services part of FAPE. We will have teachers, instructional assistants, SKIAs, a nurse, and all related service providers during ESY. And we will typically have a class of about 10 students in there. Currently, we are planning on running the summer school sessions at the high school, which will house grades 6 through 12. And we're looking at primary and elementary for our K-5 students. They run typically 8 to noon or 8:15 to 12:15. Monday through Thursday, they don't go on Friday, and again, we are really planning on having smaller classes. As you know, summer school requires just kind of getting everyone together. We have the hiring that we have teachers that have already signed up to do summer. We need to do an orientation meeting. We have to work with busing. We have to work with CNS. And also, we're also working with the Boys and Girls Club for our students who need after-school support after summer school. And that is our summer program. If you have any questions I can answer, happy to do so.
Can you tell me, of course, it's early, I guess the invitations have already gone out to the students?
They have not yet.
Oh, they have not
We're
yet gone out.
identifying students right now.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you. Anybody else have a question?
Good question.
No? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item B, we have the stipulated expulsion agreement for item number 2021-2022-SA08. Do we have a motion for that one? There can be no discussion on this item. Is there a motion?
Also move.
Okay, and is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. I'll call for the vote. Member Beneman?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. And item C is a stipulated expulsion agreement for number 2021-2022-SA09. Do I have a motion for that one as well?
Also move.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, and then I'll call for the vote. Member Beneman?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. All right, and then we have the first readings of the A through G Completion Improvement Grant Program. And we have a grant for that, and then we have, okay, all right, thank you. And item E, which is the new high school course, Advanced Placement Psychology, the first reading for that one. And for item F, let's see.
7D.
7D, which is, that one here, I'm sorry. Amy Admeyer wishes to speak to that one, which is the A through G Completion Improvement Grant Program. Item D.
I'd like to speak to the A through G Completion Improvement Grant Plan. Upon reading it, I pray that included in your consultation meetings with staff, admin, students, and parents, that Native parents were approached for their input as well. We know the level of input that we get from our Native families, so it's really important because the Native students are identified in this grant program, which doesn't happen very often, that the focus they're included in a group to support. So I'd like to offer some recommendations regarding the professional development for counselors to include cultural humility education, which includes the Indian Education Centers and participation and or working sessions with tribal liaisons from our local higher education partners, such as Kumeyaay College, UCSD, SDSU, and others. Working with local supports can help counselors understand best practices for serving Native American students as they navigate their path toward higher education. A lot of our young people tell us that they are not comfortable approaching their counselors and that their counselors are unaware of supports and resources for them. And so tribal liaisons from these higher education institutions can support and increase their knowledge of how our students go on to higher education. Regarding ongoing parent-guardian workshops, I recommend the district coordinates these workshops with local education centers who can provide spaces for their families to meet with these said workshops. The grant states that funds will be used with a targeted focus on underrepresented student groups, including Native American students, and it will include a team that will meet regularly to discuss A through G achievement. And the team will reassess credit recovery needs and offer additional recovery courses based on needs. And so understanding that this team will probably be comprised of teachers, I would recommend that one or more voices representing Native students also be in attendance, again, to best meet the needs of our Native American students who have been identified as a focus for this grant. I further recommend that the opportunities for enriching experiences, credit recovery, and retaking A through G coursework during and outside of the scheduled school day and summer school opportunities be in collaboration with those education centers who can partner with such support. The district really underutilizes our education centers, just like the summer program. Instead of trying to get students who are or have been disconnected from school, some of that programming can run through our education centers where our young people can come to their local education center if they cannot make it to the school. So just utilizing those education centers per the education code, which we've discussed often with the board. Our centers are to provide coordinated programs with the public school and provide a focus for summer recreational sports and academic experiences. So offering our students the opportunity for coursework on the reservation will support the district's goal to increase the number of students who will graduate meeting the A through G requirements. Thank you.
So I'll let you introduce Stacy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to introduce Dr. Stacy Block from the San Diego County Office of Education. She's been one of the partners with us in helping to develop this course along with Dr. Jolie Proudfit. She'd like to speak presentation-wise to this particular course for our board. Thank you, Stacy, for being here.
Thank you, Superintendent McEwen, and also board members and also guests that are here too. I'm very honored to be here in the first place, and the work that I'll be presenting tonight is in collaboration, we hope, moving forward with communities, working together with education centers to do the work. And I'm here on behalf of also Dr. Jolie Proudfit. She apologizes she couldn't be here tonight. She's presenting at a conference out of state today. And I'm here on behalf of Dr. John Tepikonik and also one of our board members from California Indian Education for All, Dr. Stan Rodriguez. So I'll get started. I want to just share some data to get started. We know that what's been shared before is when we look at graduation rates for Native American students and also A through G requirements, we need to do a lot more work. So most recent data showed that the graduation rate was 75% out of 200 students in 2021. Out of 200 students, 151 American Indian students graduated on time in comparison to the 83%. What we want to spend our time on is looking at ways that we can work together with our Native American communities and develop courses that are culturally responsive, also place-based learning, and allow students to get rigorous education and access to college credit. So this week, we worked together over the last 3 weeks to write a federal grant for the Office of Indian Education. This grant we were granted 6 years ago, and it sunsetted after 4 years. We applied for it again, and we should hear in summer if it is granted. The purpose of it was community responsive. So all of the funds for this will be spending with tribal nations to have it community responsive, and we're honored that we had so many of our first of all, our districts, and then also our tribal nations that have signed on with us. So I'll just read these really quick to give you an overview, because what we're about to go into with the American Indian Studies 101 is in correlation to having an early college access for American Indian students. So we had Alpine Union School District, Bonsall Union School District, Dehesa School District, Grossmont Union High School District, Lakeside Union School District, San Diego County Office of Ed, Court and Community Schools, San Marcos Unified, and Valley Center-Pauma, along with the following elders or tribal chairs that have also signed on to supporting with this grant. So we have Barona Band of Mission Indians, La Jolla Band of Liseño Indians, Paula Band of Mission Indians, Palma Band of Liseño Indians, Rincon Band of Liseño Indians, San Pascual Band of Mission Indians, Sequan Band of Kumeyaay Nation, and the Viejas Band of Kumeyaay Indians. So we were honored to have not only the support of them to look at ways that we can offer new opportunities for early access for students that are Native American. What we're hoping that we can design, and we've met several times with administration and then also with our tribal education centers, and we know that there is much more planning that we need to do, but we'd really love for you to consider looking at approving AIS 101. So it is an introduction to American Indian Studies. It'll be taught at Cal State University San Marcos. There was commitment from the grant to have 100% of the funds for hopefully 800 Native American students over the next 5 years to have access to it. And really the purpose behind this grant is we were trying to really follow, one, what the grant was looking for was growing your own educators within your community. So we're going to be working very closely with tribal education to have them drive and design the programs that they would like to support to have future educators here, not only in this district, but across our entire county. So you had a first read last time. I'm here to answer any questions you may have. I want to let you know that this is still a syllabus as we work through it. It's going to be designed together with our tribal education centers. We also have leaders and elders from the community that have said that they would like to be guest speakers and offer opportunities for students to go to tribal government and learn from them, and also have access to have leadership internships that way. So know that as we work together, we're going to continue to meet and have ways that we can design the curriculum to make it not only rigorous, we want it to be rigorous, but also have other opportunities and other courses for also being able to do credit recovery and other options. The reason that we're really focusing on this, where it's looking at ways to make it college access and college ready, is we want to increase the number of students that are ready to go to Cal State University or UCs immediately out of high school. So anything that San Diego County Office can do to support you with that, we're here to support you. We're happy that we have support from Cal State University San Marcos, and then also other elders that we work with across the county, and we're honored always to work with Rincon. So sorry I'm a little nervous today. It's been an emotional week for me, but know that this is something that I am deeply committed to. I will put my heart into it, and I know Dr. Prophet has spent 30 years within the field of being able to support young Native American students and transition them into college or transition them into the career that they would like to grow in and be leaders in. So I'm here to answer any questions. You have the syllabus that's available to you. And I want to just provide information about Dr. John Tipiconic, if you're not aware. He was the prior director of the Office of Indian Education for the U.S. Department of Education, which is one of the highest levels of leadership within education that you can hold within Indian education.
Okay, thank you. Just to ask one question, is this going to be like mostly online and also online and some stuff in person, or how is that gonna
We
work?
really want to make it available for the students where they have as much wraparound support as possible. So there will be aspects that are hybrid, but Dr. Tipiconic has said that he'll adjust his schedule, make it very flexible. So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if we do it within the schedule, having also the tribal education staff there to support them too, and having mentors along the way, so we have 100% completion and success with it. And the hope would be to design additional courses along the way that are also taught by Native Americans within the community.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have questions here?
I had just I'm sorry.
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, yeah, my question was what our plan is for reaching students and getting the word out, spreading the word and letting them know about this incredible opportunity.
So everything that we have focused on within San Diego County Office of Education is community-based. So it'll be working directly with tribal governments, tribal ed centers, to have them recruit. I know Ms. Aguilar, they showed the tour yesterday when they went to Cal State San Marcos. It would be working with Ms. Aguilar and then other districts too that are interested in doing this, working directly with their education centers. And what we're looking at is best practices that we've seen across the state. So I've mentioned having an opportunity to learn from other tribal education centers that some Amy, we've heard people talk about it. When you work really closely with the tribal ed centers, there's some that are incredible. They have 100% graduation rates for Native Americans. So that's part of the grant. We want to have half of these leadership teams be Native American leaders, education leaders, and then half be administration, teachers, students. So we're hoping this is a first step of continuing to grow, and we know that as we continue to grow and look at practices, we know that we can do it here. We have the people here that want to do it, and we just want to make sure that if San Diego County Office of Ed can just support in helping you write grants for whatever you need, we'll be there to support you with that. So we were also very honored when we spoke to tribal leaders. They're also 100% behind this. They said, if you need tuition, if you need materials, we're here, we want to support. So I think the biggest thing is having ongoing meetings as frequent as possible and bring everybody that's willing to help.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
I love your attitude and your heart. I can see it, and just what your passion is. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
You're going to make things happen.
I'll be honest, I am inspired when I hear the community. Absolutely. The community is passionate here, and there's many people you may have not already met that are so incredible within their community and as they lead the students too. So I'm honored. I'm honored and I'm very humbled. For me, I'm a member of a tribal nation, not here within California, but everything that I do for the rest of my career is around supporting Native Americans. So my background is being a principal, but this is what I've been my calling, like I feel I've stepped into it. And I'll just share this from a personal level. My mother was a tribal education teacher, and she passed away during COVID. So this for me is the one way I can honor her and do what I know is best, right? Mm-hmm. And I hear the hurt, I hear what they're going through. We need to empathize, and we need to trust and allow them to lead the students within this district and across the county, because it's incredible when you see the leadership that's happening. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members?
Not a question, but I mean, it sounds awesome. So I don't know who'd be against it. Like, it sounds wonderful. So I look forward to seeing it flesh out and yeah, I mean, we've heard a little bit about it from Ron. So yeah, I'm excited to hear more.
I think what I've heard, if I can just share too, we want it to be community-based, right? We want the curriculum to be community-based. So we have a template here of what Dr. Tipikonik has taught that, college students have raved over. They love this course. But I think there's an aspect of bringing it in and having it very locally based too, and having them learn from their own community. So, and then secondly, having opportunities. This is a great course, but having opportunities that we continue to grow and build courses based around what's culturally responsive for them, for credit recovery. How do we do it, how can we be creative with it? But I'm honored to do this. I'm also honored to just facilitate it, knowing that others are going to be leading it, and just here to listen too.
And Stacy, before you sit down, I'd like to thank you because, this was something that was brought to us as a board to work on. It was brought by the Education Center, and between you, Dr. Jolie Proudfit, and the rest of the team down at San Diego County office, working alongside of Mel and our local community, putting this class together for us and then having it to where we can get it to this second read. I know it was a lot of work on your end, and we just appreciate your support in this area.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize, I had two other questions.
Oh,
I'm sorry, President Adams. I was wondering, have we targeted a grade level? Or is it open to all grade levels at the high school level?
It says high
We've
school.
had this as 9th
high
through
school.
12th, and
Ninth-
so
so-
It
the
says high
hope,
school on the thing.
the hope
Right.
is to create an indigenized
meant-
A through G list for Native American students. So this could be one of the courses that is taught within districts or separate, where they have early access. They can take language courses at Kumeyaay or at Palomar, they're able to take different language courses and have other A through G courses that we either create with our community colleges or we design with our ed centers, so.
Okay, great. I
Yeah.
just I wasn't sure if there was a specific grade level within the 9 through 12,
No, 9 through
obviously.
12 for 8 through
Okay.
G.
And is there a prerequisite at all to the course? Anything that we're
We
looking
can look at that. I mean, we have weekly meetings with Cal State University San Marcos, and I want to share that too. Typically, tuition for the Cal States is $395 per unit, and they found grant funds to bring it down to $65 per unit, and then we know from these grant funds it would be paying for it. So the superintendent from San Diego County Office of Education, this is a top priority for him to be able to provide early access for all students, but especially Native American students.
Okay, very good.
Great. Thank you.
Well, I just want to tout your horn one more time. Part of the reason for the class that we was requested was for a class to be able to make up units. So for a student that's behind, that is also A through G approved.
Okay.
So that was kind of one of the purposes of it. So a freshman student may very well take it, but I could see a lot of our juniors and seniors being able to take a class that maybe they relate more to help fulfill their graduation requirements that are struggling, so.
And it would be open to high school and Oakland?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you again.
Very good.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank
And
you, Greg.
I'm available for anybody
Okay,
if there's questions.
thank you.
Thank you.
And Miss Amy wishes to speak to this one, yes, also?
So we think that this course is great for students who are already meeting standards and who might want to take a college level course. But if this course is meant for credit recovery, it should not be a college level course. Our Ed Center, or some of us spoke with Mel, and we asked for a credit recovery that could re-engage students who were not coming to school, and that it would be taught by people from their education centers so that we could call families and say, hey, we're going to have this credit recovery opportunity, and it's going to be taught by local people, and we'll have an advisor advisor teacher. But the way to get people and the community back into the school is to have their own community teaching this type of course. And what we had asked for was again, that re-engagement piece to school. And so that course would have looked something like the 7 essential understandings, humanizing one another. It would be place-based, okay? So 6 Ps, right? We would talk about Ayalkwi and the Payam Kawicham theory of knowledge, contemporary and current issues, Indigenous Peoples Day, right? Like we're trying to have it be a place-based class. And this one, if you look at the syllabus, which again, it's great for students who can read and write at grade level. If this is meant to be credit recovery, that's not what it's going to be for the students who really need it. The readings, if they're anything like the readings that are in the other syllabus that was in the agenda, they're very text heavy and dense. There's also a call for a research paper in here that's 7 to 8 pages, and our students are barely coming to school. There's also, and again, it's great. I would love to take this course. I've taken it, in my college career as well. But there's required readings that need to be met. Again, the research paper. I cannot stress enough the importance of completing assigned readings on time. It already feels like it would be a little stressful for somebody who had D's and F's, and this would not be an appropriate credit recovery course for them. Does that make sense? Policy on late work. Students are expected to meet the due dates for each assignment. Points will be deducted if work is late. The students that we proposed a credit recovery class for do not need a punitive system. They need flexibility, and they need someone who's going to work with them. And so again, it's not that we don't like this class, it's just not meant for the students we were trying to re-engage. We were told that 40% of the Native students who went to the continuation high school had not returned to school. And so part of our strategizing with our Title VI committee and our assistant superintendent was to say, well, we need something that's culturally responsive and appropriate that will bring our students back to school. And one of our young people who also teaches with us our Native and Indigenous clubs and classes. We started one at Pauma this year, restarted it. But I wasn't able to be there. I'm actually in a family crisis as well. And they said the students that were looking for me did not want to come into the class and participate because I wasn't there. And then there was other students who would hover by the door, right? And it's not to say that I'm important or the class can't continue without me, but our children are looking for that person that makes them feel safe, and they're more likely to engage in these type of classes if they see us, if they know that we're going to be there and we're going to be delivering the information. That provides success for these types of credit recovery courses. And again, we'd like to see them held at our education centers and or at the campuses. So again, our first initial discussions were about Oak Glen and how we can provide credit recovery options for all the students who need that credit recovery. And again, it's not to say this isn't great. I've also heard talks about how this could be the beginning of a model ethnic studies curriculum. So killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm sorry for that analogy, but that's not, again, what we asked for. And this just feels like, again, the district trying to give us something we didn't ask for. We want those students to re-engage in school. And so the quickness with which this got across your desk, we pray that you will also look at the actual credit recovery course that we outlined that is place-based, that creates a foundation for our students, a foundation that tells them more about who they are, because we run clubs and campuses across this district. And we ask our children the first few weeks of our classes, what is it you want from us? It's always the same thing. It's my my history, my storytelling, my language, our local food systems, right? That's what they want. So we need to give them that healthy foundation to where they say, now I want to go do this. Now I want to go look at Indians across the country. But right now, I am in needing to get to know myself, right? Because we don't teach about ourselves in school. So that's what we feel our students really need by listening to them for the past 20 years. So thank you for letting me say that. Not against it. It just became something we did not ask for. So again, if we propose the curriculum we did ask for those students who need to come back to school, we'd like to see it come across your desk just as quickly. That was very, thank you. So thank you. We look forward to working with you on that course to help our students re-engage in school.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the course? A motion?
Moved.
There is a motion, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the vote. Member Benjamin? Aye. Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. We now move to item G, which is the adoption of middle school social studies curriculum. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and is there any further discussion on that one? Okay, seeing none, we'll move ahead with the vote. Member Benjamin? Aye. Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. Human Resources, we have the district calendar for the 2022-2023 school year. You saw it, I'm sure, already in your packet, and it's very similar to what we've had in the past. Do we have a motion to approve the calendar?
I'll also move.
Okay, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion or questions about the calendar? It's pretty straightforward. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. Okay, item B is a Student Support Services Program Specialist. We have for a new job description to finalize that, narrow job. Is there a motion to support that one?
Give people a few minutes to get out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I just want.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
No,
so
we'll take a break.
we'll take a break for a minute for folks who want to leave. Sorry about that.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
You just get a little too loud. Thank you, Greg.
No problem. Okay, so going ahead with item B, I'm sorry, student support. I got this agenda here, and it's got all this notes and stuff on it. I'm always kind of glued to the thing. It's multi-layered here, so please forgive me if I just plow through this thing here. Student Support Services Program Specialist job description. Okay, do I have a motion for that job?
I'll also move.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Student Support Services Program, I think we reread that already. Okay, is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, is there a motion?
We already.
We did that, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad, I was just discussing. Okay, my bad.
I'll
Let's
do
go
it
ahead and
again.
vote. We can, yeah, you
I'll
can
make
do it
another
again. We
motion.
did it
Okay.
already. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
And Member Adams votes aye. And next we have the deaf and hard of hearing teacher job description. So is this a new position, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yes.
It's a position that we've contracted out for in the past, but it'll be new to our district.
Okay, so I thought we contracted that in the past. All right, do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll
Motion and a
second.
second.
Or I'll second.
Okay.
Either way.
Whoever, whichever.
You decide who.
Get it done.
Okay, is there any discussion on that? Okay. All right, then, we'll go ahead with voting. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And item D is a Director of Curriculum job description. So do I have a motion for that one?
I'll make a motion.
And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, for Director of Curriculum. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote then. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. Okay, now we move to item E, which is the initial proposal of the Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District to the California School Employees Association, the CSEA, and it's Valley Center-Pauma Unified Chapter 795 for reopeners, for discussion on that. So I'm going to gavel in the hearing at
7:43.
Thank you. 7:43. Any comments on this one here? Anybody here to comment on that? No? That's a surprise.
Gavel out at 7:43.
Yeah, guess so. Gavel out at 7:43. All right, do I have a motion for that? Accept it.
Also move.
Second?
I'll second.
Second by Mary. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote then. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. And the second one here is the initial proposal for the CSEA and its Valley Center-Pauma Chapter Unified 795 chapter for reopeners to Valley Center-Pauma Unified School District. The initial proposal. It sounds like the same, but it's a little different.
It's us opening.
It's us opening to them, yeah, okay. And I'm gaveling the hearing in at 7:44. And I don't think there's anyone to speak about it, is there, here on the district side? We talked about it already. All right, gavel out at the same time, 7:44.
You were ready.
Oh, you were ready?
No, I'm sorry.
You snooze, you lose.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, all right, do I have a motion for that one?
Also move.
And a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right then, let us vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh? Member Adams votes aye. Okay, this is the Business Division, the conducting of the public hearing regarding the school fee justification study and regarding the resolution to increase statutory school fees. The time in is at 1 minute later. Thank you. 7:45.
It's hard to see.
Is there anyone who wishes to speak to that one? No, I didn't think so.
What?
Thought maybe he was. Okay then, gavel out.
Oh, I went to 6, I think. 7:46.
7:46. Thank you very much. Okay, so item B is to approve the resolution 2021-2022-11 to adopt the school fee justification study and to increase statutory school fees imposed on development projects. Do I have a motion?
Sure, also move.
You're getting good at that,
Yeah.
Paul, I tell you.
When you're good, you're good.
Keep it up. Pretty soon you'll be sitting in this seat right now.
No, not yet.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second.
Jinx.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. Okay, we have a presentation on this, and this is item C, to amendment to the Energy Services Agreement on the solar power, and I believe we have a presentation. And
Yes.
Mr. Peterson, you want to introduce our
I
speaker?
will introduce our speaker tonight. As you'll recall, the board approved a contract with Forefront Power last year to bring solar power to 4 of our district sites. And Nate Smith-Ide from Forefront Power is here this evening to give us an update on the progress that has been made so far in getting ready for construction of our solar canopies that are going to be going over parking lots at 4 different school sites, and also explain the need for why we need to modify the contract slightly in order to move forward. So I will turn it over to Nate right now.
Thanks, John. It's an honor to be the last agenda item. As brief as possible.
Especially when he came here from San Francisco, right?
Boy.
Love it.
Sorry about that.
It's part of the job. My name, as John just mentioned, is Nate Smith-Ide, and I represent Forefront Power. We are your solar project partner. Wanted to provide a quick update on all of the work that we've been doing in the background. I know that you all signed the contracts last January or December at your final year board meeting of 2021 or of 2020. And
Can you speak in front of the microphone?
Yes,
so it can be
and we
recorded?
wanted to just give you an
Yeah,
update to make
okay.
sure that you knew that these projects were still going into the ground. So, brief timeline update, what's happened since January 2021. We've moved our way through the longest pole in the tent with any solar project, which is the SDG&E interconnection process. We secured net energy metering 2.0 for all of the district's projects. Net energy metering, this is a completely different can of worms, is changing. Your projects at the district have the more favorable current net energy metering rates for 20 years, which matches the term of your solar project, which is very good for project economics. We then moved our way through DSA. All projects are DSA approved at this point. And now we are eyeing down procurement. We recently procured all of our steel for the project. Steel represents approximately 30% of total project costs with these canopy projects in your parking lots. We are moving towards construction start on June 15th, and then ultimately mechanically complete by the beginning of your school year for all of the projects, and final closeout happening about mid-fall. All of the work that's been happening in the background, I just have listed some of these items. We provide all of the initial survey, real estate diligence, line locating, the geotechnical reports as well. We make our way through CEQA and the FAA. Those have all been completed. On the engineering side, we've finalized all of the designs. The construction drawings are 100% complete. We've, again, made our way through DSA, which is a large obstacle in itself, and we have permits to build. The second update I have, and the impetus for this update really, is the fact that we've experienced since contract signing exploding commodities pricing. So as we feel at the pump on a day-to-day basis, all of the commodities that are integrated in our solar projects, say steel, aluminum, copper, switchgear, have all exploded in the last year. We've realized over $630,000 in total increases to the project costs. Fortunately, we have a contract mechanism in which to absorb these costs, which was negotiated at signing. These types of unforeseen costs. In an effort of good faith, Forefront Power, we have absorbed approximately 25% of those total costs. It's important to note that this procurement was via an RFP, so pricing was very, very competitive, which is extremely fortunate for the district, and it's enabling continued savings for the project, which is my next slide here. The request at a portfolio level is shifting the PPA rate from approximately 13.92 cents per kilowatt hour to 15.95, 2 pennies. What that allows us to do by signing this amendment is continue onwards to our June 15th construction start and complete all of our construction activities this summer. You can see that the district is still saving a lot of money in year one, and even more than it was projected to save over 20 years, even with this 2 penny increase. These are previously approved economics. You can see in the box below, 20-year savings have actually improved. This is an indication that SDG&E rates just in the last year have actually outpaced commodities, which means that we're still saving the district over, we were projecting a little bit under $8 million, now 8.2, so about a $250,000 delta there in the 20-year savings number. And hopefully, the next time we speak, those numbers will look even better, as we have very conservative annual SDG&E escalation rate assumptions built into our analysis, which I have outlined at the bottom of that slide. That is it. Conclusions: costs have increased. Forefront Power, we are cost sharing these with the district. SDG&E rates are rising. To no surprise, that helps solar economics. As these projects go into the ground and become energized, the district is paying a flat fee for that produced energy and becoming SDG&E rate resilient.
Very good, thank you. Does the
Okay.
board have any questions?
Seems very reasonable. I guess, you know, it is what it is. There's not much choice in the matter, but thank you for being honest and straightforward about it. Appreciate it, you know.
I just had one question, just because I have curiosity about
Yeah.
this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but to bid a job our size now, what is the rate that you're coming in at? I mean, we're...
Oh, it would be much higher than what you currently have.
Right.
Yeah, you were really at the perfect time before the pandemic, running the RFP. And since then, again, the whole industry has experienced these increased costs, and it's not just your project, of
So
course.
if we went out today, it would be off the charts compared to
It
this?
would be off the charts. I mean, yeah. I think, I live and breathe this, and I cover the market, and this is pennies below what you would get.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Thank you for coming all the way from
No, it's my pleasure. And
sunny San Francisco.
And it's not very sunny, and we truly appreciate all of the partnership with the district, and we're really excited to get these projects in the ground and save money for the district and show all of your students the benefits of renewable energy. So thank you for that
Okay.
opportunity.
Very good. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Shade for the cars.
Shade.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so is there a motion then to approve the amendment to the service agreement?
Also move.
Oh,
do it. All right.
we got a winner first and a second.
I'll second.
All right, there for that one. Is there any further discussion on this item?
I'm glad it's going in this summer.
Agreed.
Finally,
Yes.
after all these years, I know, it should have been done before.
Yeah.
Okay, then, any further discussion? I guess not. Let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. It is approved. Thank you. Advanced planning, our next regular monthly board meeting is on May 12th at 6 p.m. right here at this same spot, at this same place, at the same time, 6 p.m. Okay, is there a call for adjournment? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
And a second. Thank you very much. Any discussion? I think not. Okay, let's call for the vote. Member Benjamin?
Aye.
Member Heredia?
Aye.
Member Polito?
Aye.
Member Stroh?
Aye.
Member Adams votes aye. We are adjourned.